Today I am going to make a video on Shakespeare's Roman plays, because though Shakespeare is not known to our people in general, all educated people know the name of Shakespeare at least. Being a student of literature, I am very much fond of Shakespeare. In every walk of life, I find him very suitable in his talk, in his quotations. He has explored every walk of life, every type of character in the world. That is important about him. Actually, he was not a scholar. In Plutarch's Lives of Poets, an autobiography book, Thomas Norton, an English writer, translated Italian poet Plutarch. He wrote a book on poets, on all great poets. The biographies of all great poets he wrote in his book Lives of Poets. The author is Plutarch, and it was translated into English by Thomas Norton. That was the source of Shakespeare's Roman plays. Why he chose Roman plays was the Roman civilization was the earliest civilization in the world. It was supposed to be the most civilized race in the world. The earliest civilization in the world. They were the people who first supported republicanism. They were the people who discarded oligarchy, monarchy for the first time in the world. Even before Christ, they discarded it. So, they are supposed to be the most civilized people in the world. So, by the time Shakespeare came to write his dramas, Queen Elizabeth was ruling over many countries in the world. Actually, they even started colonization in other countries like India, America, and other African countries. And they were flourishing in their trade. So, they were very proud of their culture. And so, Shakespeare wanted to project British civilization as the best civilization in the world. In other words, he wanted to support the Queen Elizabeth, who was childless, unmarried. So, there was a threat of civil war or war from outside, because there was no heir to the throne. When there is no heir to the throne, people will be confused about the monarchy. So, any person, a man who was valiant, could become the king. So, in order to win the hearts of the people, Shakespeare wrote history plays in a series of 8 plays, where there was commotion, there was threat to the throne, how the people in different periods of time discarded either the king or the king himself was killed by his own children. Different types of problems. Due to different types of problems, the question of the heredity of the throne was in balance, was hung in balance. At that time, he maintained peace in the country by persuading people not to go against the queen, because according to the British people's belief, the royal blood is not red in color, it is blue in color. That is why it is called navy blue. Royal blue. Navy blue is called royal blue. It was a superstition. So a king was supposed to be directly sent by God, a representative of God. So going against the king would bring famine, civil war, and different types of problems in the country, like a drought or diseases or any type of calamities would befall the country if the people went against the king. That was the superstition in those days. So he gave more support to that superstition through his 8 history plays. Afterwards he wrote his, not in a row, but at different times, periods of his life, career, he wrote 3 Roman plays. They are Julius Caesar, Coriolanus, Antony and Cleopatra. Those 3 dramas project the 3 most important Roman values in civilization. The main reason for the greatness of Roman civilization in history was only due to these 3 elements. So, Shakespeare was against that. Shakespeare was of the opinion that anything that is too much, any affection that is too much, or any value that is too much, or given too much of value, would be a threat to civilization, a threat to the peace of human life. So, the 3 so-called great qualities of Roman civilization are: one is importance given to friendship. Friendship, I have already dealt with this topic in another video of mine called friendship. So, the Romans used to feel that friendship is more important, more honorable than any other relationship in the world. Though the blood relatives like brothers, sisters, father, mother, uncles, aunts are also there, a man's life is incomplete without an external social friend. Especially kings used to give more importance to this aspect of friendship, and they even sacrificed their life for the sake of that friend, who later on became either poisonous or who became very superior, more superior than them, that they had to give them a place in their life by giving their children in marriage to that person. So that honor is questioned through Julius Caesar. In Julius Caesar, Brutus, who was a very close accomplice and friend of Julius Caesar, became his enemy, and he supported the conspirators and he killed him. So, this is a lesson to anybody who thinks that too much of importance given to a friend in life would ultimately take the toll on that particular person's life. So, any emotion or any feeling that goes out of control is dangerous, detrimental to the peace of the person. The second honor that they gave importance in Roman civilization was romantic love. Antony and Cleopatra. That is also a Roman play. Cleopatra was supposed to be the most beautiful woman in Egypt, and she was already married to her brother, who was just 9-year-old when she was of marriageable age, and later on it was supposed that she killed him by throwing into the sea in a boat ride. And later on she enjoyed her romantic life with Julius Caesar, and after the death of Julius Caesar she continued her romantic escapades, and she ultimately became very much interested in Antony. Antony was actually a youngster at that time. At that time when Julius Caesar died at 80, Antony was just 19 or 20-year-old. So after Julius Caesar's death, Antony was younger than Cleopatra. But in spite of it, their romantic love was so strong that they married afterwards and they gave birth to 4 children. She gave birth to 4 children, but out of them, only one child was alive, and he became the king after her. And their love is portrayed in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra. That is supposed to be the strongest, passionate love in all literature. In history also it is true. But ultimately, believing that she died, Antony also took poison and he also died. And she also died because she really took poison after his death. Before his death, she did not take poison, but she only told him that she took poison. And believing that she really took poison and she was going to die, he swallowed poison, he also died. Both of them died. It was only out of love for each other that they died. She tried to test him whether he really loved her so much that he would die or not, whether he comes to know that she has taken poison. And afterwards she repented and she was unable to bear the loss, and she also committed suicide by taking poison. This tells us about the bad effects of too much of passion and love, sexual love and romantic love. That is the lesson that Shakespeare wanted to give. And the third play is Coriolanus. Another feature of Roman civilization is personal pride, personal honor. People used to give importance to their personal honor, especially soldiers. Coriolanus was a great soldier who was very much known for his chivalry, for his fighting, for his strength, for his military achievements. But he was very proud of his achievements and he wanted to rule over everybody. He was not able to listen to anybody. That is too much. How much ever physical strength you have, how much ever valiant you are, you must be bound by certain rules and certain regulations. The people will not accept you if you are not bound by morality and regulations. How much ever great a person is, how much ever valiant a person is, his strength and his qualities must be useful to protect the country. It is not meant for a single person's honor. Especially during the time when the people had another leader, they did not accept Coriolanus. So he was only a military commander. He did not have any other part in the government. So in such case, mere physical strength, mere physical valor cannot give any person any value in the world. That's what is given through this drama Coriolanus. Too much of self-confidence, overconfidence is what is found in Coriolanus. A person can have confidence, but overconfidence and pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it would bring death to the person. That is what is found in it. So these 3 elements of Roman civilization, which are supposed to be virtues according to that civilization, are degraded by Shakespeare by making these 3 dramas tragedies. And Shakespeare's greatness is tragic only. In those days, writing a tragedy was supposed to be greater than writing a comedy. Only to give some sort of pleasure to the groundlings, low-class people, he created comedies. His greatest worth and value can be found only in his tragedies. So all his history plays, 8 history plays and 3 Roman plays are all tragedies only.